Welcome to Flex Factor with Marc Navarro, the podcast that cuts through the noise to bring you the best strategies and insights in the co-working world. Produced by Spacebring. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the new episode of Flex Factor podcast. I'm here in a new episode, this time with Tamara Giménez, which I actually met her yesterday. And the conversation was so cool that I was like, Tamara, I have to interview you. And she jumped on it. And here we are. Tamara, welcome.
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be part of this.
Yeah, it's kind of weird for us because we both speak Spanish, our native language. So we are here talking in English, so it can reach more people. But Tamara, I always start more or less in the same way, and my question will be how Tamara Giménez ended up in co-working, because if I'm not wrong, you're a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer. You're right. I'm a lawyer, and I actually still have my law firm, but I've been always working in different companies, more in real estate related. And from early stage in my career, I kept in touch with different companies. And I was always curious about doing business and analyzing the needs of the companies, and one thing led to the other. And
it felt like a natural move, right? Like instead of advising, you went for it.
It's a different kind of service, let's say.
Okay.
Co-working, it's a bit more fun than law, but still. My partner once came from the US, and he brought this idea like, hey, there's something going on in the States, like these spaces where you can go there and you can work with people. It's called co-working. It was all about like something really, like new for us. And in Argentina, it was quite common. It wasn't common. It was quite normal in the States, but in Argentina, it was something really, really new. There were little players here offering the service, and it was mainly for freelancers or individuals. It was something kind of an experiment. It wasn't meant for companies. So when he brought this idea, we shared it and we started analyzing about, just doing some research, seeing what was going on. And we definitely saw an opportunity there. But I was with my law firm and working in different companies as part of legal advisor and CFO as well, because I have like many hats. So at that time, it was 2016, early in the co-working industry in Argentina. And so I had 2 spare rooms at the law firm. So we started trying it out there. We started offering, Teamworks actually was born there. It was everything but a comfortable space. It was definitely not the way it was going to work, but it was a cool way of,
trying.
Exactly. Well, it's just as any startup. So we started to understand at that point, we were offering it not for companies, but for individuals. So at least we started to understand what we needed to provide, and started to learn a bit more about services and experience and what was people looking for, community, what was it, right? After that experiment, we decided to move to another office, which was part of one of the companies I was part as well. We had some spare room there. It was about 150 square meters. So we took that space, which was empty. By 2017, end of 2017, took some extra additional space. So we were over 300. By that point, we realized that we could offer this service to companies. So we started, instead of giving it to individuals. We offer this service to small companies, and they were actually quite cool at it. I mean, it was quite hard for them to, understand that what we were offering really, because it was quite new. They joined.
Sorry to interrupt you. I think it's something that it's in all markets in which co-working is not mainstream yet. It's something that it's starting. It's this idea that co-working is only for freelancers, that it's only for people that it's starting, that it's for people that it's new in a business. So I have felt that pain when I was operating many years ago in Spain. So I completely understand that.
Yes, it's kind of like it happens nowadays, actually, for some companies. It's not only like back in those days. On those days, it was like for everybody. It was really hard to make companies to understand that we could offer the level of service that they would demand, or what was exactly what we were offering, because there was a misconception of the co-working. It's like, everything's going to be shared. No, it doesn't have to be shared, everything. I mean, you can share some spaces, but you can still have your own privacy. You can still have the office life that you have in your own office, but with a better service, with a better environment, with some common areas. So back at that time, it was really hard to make companies to accept the concept. It was starting exactly. So by 2019, we were already full. We had the 300 square meters that we had just doubled. They were full. So it was time for the next level, next step.
And it was not a small one.
And it was not a small one. No, we went from 0 to 100. So it was, we actually found this space, which is amazing because it's still one of our sites, the first one. It's 4,000 square meters. So we moved our first site to the new one. It was a big bet, but it paid off. So by June 2019, we were there offering not only a couple of offices, we had plenty of offices in rooms, out, lots of amenities. We have a full terrace. So it was a big bet, and it was about timing because 2020, as everybody knows, coronavirus pandemic strikes, and we had to navigate those waters, as you said before. It was hard for everybody, but if you have just moved from 300 square meters to 4,000 and you are like still trying to keep the business going, if you have to face a situation that nobody was prepared for, it was quite a challenge.
I have to say that when you explained this story to me yesterday, there were, and I don't want to spoil the story, but from a really, really bad thing, a bad moment, you, by doing a good thing, by taking the right decision, you ended up getting from a crisis to opportunity.
Definitely. Right? It's always like that. In the end, it's always the way you want to look at it, right? I mean, it's easy to see things as a problem because it was a big problem at the moment. Nobody knew what we were going to face, what we were facing, and what was coming next. It was hard times, but everybody was going through the same situation. So we tried to understand that our anxiety, our worries were just the same as our members, and they were facing a lot, and they had to face contracts that were signed and were supposed to be accomplished on a different situation. So our decision there was to take action right away. So after the first 15 days that we had the lockdown, which I think it was the only 15 days that we were actually closed, we decided to let all our members know that we were going to make this shared effort to sail, to navigate these waters, and that we were together on this. It was kind of, we are partners. We are not just providers. We are together in this. We will make it through together. So we're going to cover for the 50% of your monthly fee, in a way of we are together on this. That was the message, and it was so well received. People were so, but not because only of what they were getting, because it is the 50%. It was not just a number. It was the message. We are together. We are both doing the same effort. You are doing it. We are doing it. And by doing that, kind of the amount of members that we had almost was stable. We had very, very few people that actually had to leave. Yeah. Exactly. That was really good for us to keep the same level, the same amount of members. It kept us going through this moment as well. Of course, it was not as if we would have the 100% fee. It was a struggle for us too. We had to do our part, but it was part of the deal as well, and it paid off because we were open after the 15 days of lockdown because we had essential workers working at Teamworks. Our doors were open for other members to come. By 2021, we had even better
occupancy rate.
Thank you. Our occupation rate was even better than the one previous to the pandemic. It paid off. And by 2022, we were launching our second site, which is the one in 25 de Mayo and Corrientes, right in Microcentro. It's still on. And by 2023, we were opening the third one, which is Teamworks Suipacha. That's in Suipacha 946. It's a brand new building. Well, it's not brand new now. It's like almost 2 years. Time goes fast. But well, it was a brand new building by then, and well, now it's full. It's on its full occupancy. So, and right now in 2025, we are about to launch our fourth site. It's located in nearby, like 2 blocks away from the last one. And our plans of opening new sites on the next few years is still on, as well as our franchise model. That's part of the way Teamworks is planning to keep opening spaces. And well, we have a really ambitious program going on, which keeps us really enthusiastic.
Yeah, I mean, you're quite busy. I think that for season 2, we'll have to come back and interview you again to know more about this strategy.
That would be great.
This podcast is proudly brought to you by SpaceSpring, your fast track to co-working space management.
One of the things that I really admire about what you have been doing, it's that you started 2016 with 150 square meters, jumped in 2019 to 4,000, go through a pandemic with a space that was 6-8 months old in operations. And now, if I'm not wrong, you have 15,000 square meters.
Yes, exactly. Yes, we'll have with this new launch, we'll have. And let me make a correction there. So we really started with 2 little rooms. So
okay, so even less than that.
So let's don't miss that. We started with 2 spare rooms at my law firm, that was the original setup. So yes, it was quite organic, to be honest. We kept growing. I think that part of what led us to where we are now is that we try to always focus on understanding what was the demand, basically, because we started as offering what we thought it was a co-working. We offered a space for freelancers to come and connect. And well, it was only 2 rooms and whatever, let's just try it out. And then we started to talk to our members and understand what they needed and what was the demand on the market. And what we realized is that for companies, it was a really good fit. Maybe companies didn't know that yet. So we knew that we had to communicate that in a way for them to find at Teamworks their office space. And from 2019, it was quite clear when we launched our big site, the one that we have now, we realized that we were an amazing fit for companies, and that companies could find at Teamworks what they were needing, not what they just could find. So we always focus on what they on their needs. We are really flexible. We have a structure that actually allows us to be that flexible. It's always good to listen to what the members need in terms of layout, in terms of service. What happens lots of times is that companies just found the office that they found. They end up in the office that they found and not in the office that they need. And what we focus is in the office that they need. So exactly, what is what you need? Let me make it for you. So we work together with them. We design it. We set up the layout. We have a whole team working for them since the start. And together with that, we understand as well that they have other requirements or other situations that may be a challenge, like, for example, IT requirements. That happens a lot, Mark, IT departments, they're not too open to co-working space because it's kind of like they have to give away their IT
infrastructure,
structure, exactly, and they're really jealous about it, and it makes sense because it's a big thing, it's a big deal to give.
Yeah, but there are ways to work together, right?
Exactly,
at the end,
but it's not one way or the other. We can even provide all the services and take care of all your network, whatever. But I'm not an IT specialist, of course, so I'm going to say it the way I know it. But we do have a good team on IT. But we do understand that some companies need to have special requirements in IT area. So instead of trying to force them to adapt to Teamworks, we try to understand what they need and we adapt to them and we give them, again, the office they need and not the office they find, because I think that's the key.
This takes me to 2 places. On one side, it's something we discussed previously, and it's this capability that I discovered in Buenos Aires in my recent trip, and it's how amazingly you are adapted to a changing environment, right? It's like I'm super frustrated sometimes, and now I'm using you as a psychologist, but I'm super frustrated sometimes when I met pioneers in co-working in several areas around the world, that they are not able to adapt their product until it's too late, and then new players came in with a new product, with a new service, with a possibility of making more money and then keep improving and keep growing, right? And it's something that you and your project exemplify how to adapt to the market, because you started with freelancers and then you understood super fast that this was the perfect fit for companies. You start evangelizing them, preaching, right? The how co-working can be a perfect solution. And in some way,
still are on that process. With some companies, we still have to.
Yeah, it's the same there, that some industries, like more conservative industries, have more barriers, like mental barriers in most of the situations. Sometimes it's technical, but to accept that it's not a downgrade to go to a co-working instead of having their own place, right?
Well, that's part of the challenge. Many companies already understood it. It's really important to understand that co-working space, it's not only a solution, but it could be an upgrade. The thing is that when they say like, no, our own office is different from a co-working, we need to have our own office because our company is big and blah, blah. And then you go and take a look at their office, and their office is like, God, it's it's nothing like an upgrade. So when you go and see really low ceilings, when cleaning is not to the standards that it has to be, when you have to have your own team taking care of maintenance, when you have to, when you cannot provide to your team with the proper amenities, with the proper, coffee, snacks, fruits, all those items are actually, they talk about the high standard of the company, right? So when we provide all that in a full package, let's say, service to the companies, they can really understand that what we are offering is actually an upgrade. So it's kind of a myth, I would say, that if you go to a co-working space, well, it depends to what co-working, right? Of course, I mean, we have so many options, and it depends on your budget and on what you're looking for. But in general terms, for example, on my experience, what happens is that companies come to our co-working and they really appreciate that what they are getting there is way much better than what they could have provided if they did it themselves.
Because their expertise is somewhere else. It's
exactly. And it should be there. And it should be there because it's not only an upgrade only in terms of infrastructure, in service. It's not only that. It's an upgrade in terms of I've got way much more time to do what I do best, which is my business. Yeah. And that's the key of co-working space. So it's not only an upgrade on infrastructure, but also an upgrade in terms of focus, in terms of time, in terms of going to where we need to go, our business. Mm-hmm. And many companies are starting now. I mean, I believe that it's part of the process, of course, when they see that some other company, for example, let's say, I don't know, we have many companies, software companies, we have airline companies, we have many different industries. And when they start to, have meetings at the office, at Teamworks, our spaces, so people, when they bring people in, they start to, hey, you're here. Oh, and so it's kind of spreading the word and it's quite contagious. So it's part of the process. I believe that in the future, I'm not saying all of them because it doesn't apply to absolutely everyone. But I would say that most, like 90% of the companies would be definitely in a co-working space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice. It's a trend that I think that all people in the industry would love. That's the final number. Yeah. But there's a question, and this is going to be the last one. It's one that you mentioned at some point in our conversation yesterday, and it really, I was like, oh, I need to talk about this. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of tiers in co-working, people offering different services. And you mentioned a word that I love, and it's commodity. It's like, yes, we cannot become commodities.
Exactly. Yes.
And we were discussing about what to do to not become a commodity.
Yes. Well, because in the end, if you think about it, maybe not before, but nowadays, we have many players. Co-working is not something brand new. It's something that nowadays people know about co-working. And there's this risk of falling into what you just said, right? We are a commodity because we give just kind of the same desks, kind of the same furniture, kind of the same internet service, kind of the same snacks, coffee, fruits. So the difference has to be somewhere else. Our focus is basically on the service. I believe that the way that we actually approach to our members, the way that we are flexible, understanding their needs, what they need, what they actually appreciate, because not everybody is looking for the same. Yes, everybody's looking for a place where to work. That's clear. But some of them would be, just as I mentioned, maybe some members are really interested in having their own IT requirements covered. Maybe some others are really jealous of their privacy. Maybe some others are really jealous about, taking care of their team, that the team feels not neglected, that they feel appreciated. So we believe that the difference is actually made on the service, and that's where Teamworks is actually aiming at. Our main difference, or where we want to make the difference, is on the service level. And that's something that comes not only on we have tailor-made solutions, which that's one of our distinctions, but also on being human, let's say, not having this closeness to our members, that we are a team. Teamworks, that we are really close to our members and we work together as a team, just as we did in the pandemics, just as we are doing now. We are there to be partners, not to be just a supplier. We don't want to be suppliers. We want to be partners. And that's our aim. And that's something that not only me, of course, because it's clear that I know where we're heading, but it's in our team. All of the people that make Teamworks are really dedicated to make that happen. And that can be felt from the outside.
That's a really nice way to end this conversation. For sure, it will be more. I didn't tell it yet. It's but I didn't publicly say it. But next April, 21st and 22nd of April, 2026. I was in the last century for a few seconds.
Oh, really nice.
There will be a Coworking Latam conference in Buenos Aires, and I'm sure that the opportunity to discuss this and to listen to you in that conference will take us great things and great insights. And for sure, we will talk again in this podcast next year, so you can talk about the expansion and the franchise. And remember, we don't want to be suppliers. We want to be partners. Thank you very much for being part of this podcast. And and if there's anything that you want to say to the people listening to us.
Well, first, thanks for the space. Sorry for my rusty English. I'm pretty sure that on the conference in my Spanish, I will be able to to be way much better. But it was a pleasure to share the story of Teamworks. I'm really proud of what we made
you should.
so far. And not only me, but the whole team. We work as a team, so it's really nice to share it with you guys. And I'm excited to share way much more in the next months to come.
Thank you so much. And with this good energy, let's see each other next month in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.